What if everything you've ever believed about reality was just a symbol? What if buried beneath the sands of time lies a forgotten science of the gods? And what if the key to mastering your mind, your destiny, and the universe was hidden in plain sight, whispered only to the chosen few? Welcome, Lightworkers. This is the ancient current of Hermeticism. Long before modern religions took form, long before even the pyramids whispered secrets to the stars, there was a name. Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great philosopher, magician, sage, god, or simply the last memory of a golden age when spirit and science were one. Some say Hermes was a man, others a myth, but the truth is deeper. Hermes Trismegistus is the divine fusion of two ancient archetypes, Thoth, the Egyptian god of writing, wisdom, and magic, and Hermes, the Greek messenger of the gods and guardian of hidden knowledge. Together, they birthed the Hermetic tradition, a mystical science said to hold the laws that govern all planes of existence, the mental, the spiritual, and the material. In ancient Alexandria, a cosmic city where East meets West, a sacred current of wisdom pours through scrolls, temples, and minds. Here, Hermetic texts were passed from lips to papyrus, studied in secret by the initiated. These texts weren't beliefs, they were systems, encoded formulas for inner transformation. The art of the Hermeticism begins with one radiant relic, the Emerald Tablet, a mysterious inscription said to have been carved by Hermes himself. That which is above is like that which is below, and that which is below is like that which is above. This is not just poetic, it is a universal code. It suggests that the microcosm, the universe, and the microcosm, you, are mirrors. Change one and you affect the other. Hermes was called thrice great because he mastered the three worlds: the physical, which is the body and nature; the mental, which is the thoughts and emotion; the divine, which is the spirit and eternal truth. And so, he became a symbol of the universal initiate, the one who seeks truth beyond illusion. Many Hermetic manuscripts were burned or hidden during waves of religious purging, but fragments survived in the Corpus Hermeticum, in alchemical diagrams and Rosicrucian writings, and later in the mysterious book called the Kybalion. And you can check the description below to get a free copy of the Kybalion. Hermeticism, though exiled from temples, survived in the whispers of alchemists, mystics, and sacred societies. Hermeticism isn't a fossil, it's a living current flowing through you if you dare to awaken it. Because the truth is, you are the temple, you are the experiment, you are the philosopher's stone, and Hermes is the voice behind the veil waiting for you to remember. Now that we've uncovered the mighty beginnings of Hermeticism, what happened when these ancient truths were hidden behind coded language and mystical laws? Stay with me, because in the next segment, we enter the veiled world of the Kybalion and decode its 7 laws of the universe. What if the secrets of the cosmos were whispered by a being who was neither God nor man, but both? What if his teachings shaped mystics, kings, and alchemists, yet he never truly lived? Who was Hermes Trismegistus? And why does his shadow still stretch across the soul of humanity? Hermes Trismegistus means thrice great Hermes. He is believed to be a synthesis of the Greek god Hermes, Egyptian god Thoth, and a human sage of divine wisdom. Thrice great because he mastered alchemy, astrology, and theurgy, the divine science of invoking the gods. In him, the heavens, the earth, and the soul found a single voice. Hermes was not one man, but a sacred idea wearing many faces, known as the scribe of the gods. Thoth governed writing, time, magic, and divine intellect. He was depicted with the head of an ibis, holding scrolls of truth, Many scholars believe Hermes Trismegistus was a Greek reinterpretation of Thoth during the Hellenistic period. Temples to Thoth were built in Hermopolis, the city of Hermes. The gods of old never died, they simply evolved, dressed anew in foreign tongues. Hermes, god of transitions, boundaries, hidden knowledge, patron of merchants, thieves, and alchemists. He held the caduceus symbol of duality and healing, later adopted by alchemists and physicians. Hermes' blend with Thoth gave birth to Hermetic wisdom, the philosophical bridge between earthly order and earthly chaos. Some claim Hermes Trismegistus was a real high priest in Egypt. Others say he's a mythical embodiment of secret knowledge passed down through generations. His attributed writings, the Corpus Hermeticum, suggest a sage who spoke of the divine light within man long before modern mysticism. Even church fathers debated his origin. Some believed he prophesied Christ. To ask if Hermes truly lived is to miss the point, for he lives through every seeker who dares to touch the divine with mortal hands. Seen as a spiritual ancestor of Gnostics, Renaissance alchemists, Freemasons, Rosicrucians, modern metaphysical thinkers, the idea of hidden truth, Gnosis, passed from initiate to initiate, was tied deeply to the myth of Hermes. As above, so below. The internal Zion is attributed to him. He who is thrice great still speaks. If you know how to listen, in the quiet moments between thought and breath, the voice of Hermes whispers, you are the universe learning to remember itself. What if ancient scrolls held the very blueprints of reality, but were hidden, scattered, and veiled in metaphor? What if the cosmos could be decoded not by machines but by the soul? Enter the Corpus Hermeticum, the spiritual anatomy of existence. Now, what is Corpus Hermeticum? It is a collection of sacred texts attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, composed between the 1st and 3rd centuries AD during the Greco-Roman period in Egypt. It is not a single book, but a series of dialogues, meditations, and revelations between Hermes and divine beings. The Corpus Hermeticum entails the origin of the universe, the nature of the mind, reincarnation, divine order, and mystical rebirth. These are not mere writings, they are spiritual blueprints, encrypted in metaphor, waiting to be decrypted by the awakened. The Poem Madres was the first and most important book. Hermes is visited by a being of pure light, the Nous or divine mind, who reveals the secrets of creation. The Asclepius is a dialogue about the divine nature of man and the spiritual fall of Egypt. The Emerald Tablet, a concise text containing the maxim, as above, so below. Its brevity is matched only by its profundity. The Divine Pyramida, visions of the creation of the world, the birth of souls, and their journey back to the divine. Why does the Hermetic text matter? Unlike rigid dogma, Hermetic texts are poetic, symbolic, and flexible, designed to provoke inner reflection. They assert that God is not separate from the universe, but present in all things, including you. Emphasis is on gnosis, which is inner knowledge. The divine is not something you believe in, it is something you awaken to. To read Hermes is to be reintroduced to yourself, not as flesh and name, but as spark and pattern, endlessly reborn. The universe is all mind. All multiplicity stems from a single source. Humans are divine beings in mortal form, capable of ascension. The spiritual path is a remembering, not a learning. Nature is alive and sacred, and understanding its language brings wisdom. For centuries, Hermetic texts were hidden, banned, or lost, suppressed by rising religious and political powers. It was then rediscovered during the Renaissance. They influenced great minds like Giordano Bruno, Marsilio Ficino, Isaac Newton, Carl Jung. These texts were revered not as superstition, but as universal philosophy veiled in poetic metaphor. To the sleeping, these are dusty scrolls. To the seeker, they are living flames. The writings of hands are not read with the eyes, they are felt with the soul. What if reality wasn't random, but rhythmic? What if hidden behind every movement, every word, every thought, there are seven invisible laws that govern all things? These aren't theories, they are the seven Hermetic Principles, the metaphysical architecture of the cosmos. They were rooted in Kybalion. These principles are seen as divine codes embedded into every layer of existence. These laws apply to everything, from the behavior of atoms to the rise and fall of empires to the thoughts in your mind. Hermes didn't just speak to the gods, he listened to the pulse of the universe and transcribed it. The principle of mentalism, all is mind. The universe is a mental construct. Everything begins as a thought, even creation itself. You're not in the universe, you're of it. Mind participating in mind. Principle of correspondence, as above, so below. Everything reflects itself on all levels. What happens in the micro mirrors the macro, galaxies and cells, gods and mortals. Principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves. All matter, thoughts and spirit and emotion vibrating at different frequencies. Understanding vibration gives you access to influence and transformation. Principle of polarity. Everything is dual, light and dark, joy and sorrow, heat and cold. Same essence, different degree. Transformation happens by shifting polarities, not by escaping them. Principle of rhythm. Everything flows. Life moves in waves. Inhale and exhale, birth and death, rise and fall. Those who align with rhythm can flow. Those who resist are broken. Principle of cause and effect. Nothing happens by chance. Reaction has a reaction. Karma is the punishment. It's mechanics. Conscious living means becoming the cause, not the victim of effect. Principle of gender. Everything has masculine and feminine energy. Gender is not just biological, it's spiritual polarity, logic and intuition, action and receptivity. Creation requires a union of these inner forces. Why does this principle matter? These are not beliefs, they are maps of how reality functions. You are not bound by them, you become empowered through understanding. Mastering them is not about control, it's about harmony. When you live unaware of the laws, life feels chaotic. When you move in harmony with them, life becomes magical. These laws are not meant to impress you, they are meant to awaken you. Now that you've seen the map, we choose to walk the path. In the next segment, we explore how these principles were secretly embedded into the arts, sciences, and spiritual traditions across time. Stay with me, Lightworkers. The journey has only just begun. Let me tell you how Hermetic wisdom shaped the ancient world. What if the Great Pyramids, the Greek philosophers, the mystics of the East all spoke one hidden language? A language born not of words, but of symbols and sacred laws. This is the secret lineage of Hermeticism, hidden in plain sight, echoed in stone, myth, and mind. In Egypt, where there is a cradle of Hermetic light, Hermeticism is most closely linked to ancient Kemet, also known as Egypt, where Thoth, the Ibis-headed god of wisdom, was revered. Thoth later became known in Greek as Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great. The Emerald Tablet and Kybalion are said to be echoes of ancient Egyptian teachings. In the temples of Luxor, wisdom wasn't taught, it was remembered. In Greece, where there is philosophical inheritance, Greek philosophers like Plato, Pythagoras, and Socrates were influenced by Egyptian mystery schools. Known thyself, a Delphic Mazim, echoes the Hermetic idea that as within, so without. Pythagoras spoke of vibration, rhythm, and the music of the spheres, Hermetic at its core. Rome and Gnosticism, where there is a hidden flame. In Rome, Hermetic teachings took root in Gnostic circles who believed in inner divinity and symbolic resurrection. The Corpus Hermeticum is a collection of Hermetic texts circulated during this period, wrapped in metaphor to evade suppression. Talking about alchemy, Kabbalah, and the mythos of the Middle Ages, Hermeticism influenced the Jewish Kabbalists who explored the mystical tree of life. Alchemists in medieval Europe sought not just to turn lead into gold, but ego into divine itself. In Africa, India, and the East, where there is a parallel echoes, though Hermeticism bloomed in Egypt, similar spiritual codes existed in African oral traditions, Hindu Vedanta, and Taoism. They all share the idea of polarity, rhythm, and inner divinity. It's not about borrowing, it's about cosmic convergence. Truth, like light, casts the same shadow, no matter where it shines. Let's talk about the Renaissance reawakening. Hermetic texts resurfaced during the Italian Renaissance, shaping the minds of Da Vinci, Leonardo, Bruno, and even Newton. The printing press allowed hermetic ideas to spread like wildfire, hidden behind symbols, allegories, and architecture. Talking about modern echoes, the New Thought movement, quantum mysticism, theosophy, they all carry hermetic fingerprints. The Kybalion, published in 1908, revived these principles in a new era. Today, spiritual seekers are remembering what ancient adepts lived by. There is a pattern to all things. Hermeticism didn't fade, it hid. It wove itself into temples, parables, and the DNA of civilizations. Now, as a veils thin, we are reawakening to a truth older than time. And in the next segment, we decode the symbols from the emerald tablet to the caduceus and reveal their sacred meanings. What if I told you that Hermeticism wasn't just ancient wisdom, but a living path waiting to awaken within you? You're not just a seeker of truth, you are the key and the door. Are you ready to walk the path or the adept? First, who is the adept? An adept in Hermeticism isn't someone who knows everything, but someone who remembers. They embody the principles not as facts, as vibrations of being. The adept walks between the spiritual and the physical world with awareness and balance. The hermetic adept is not outside of you, it is the you that's been waiting to awaken. How do you walk this path? You don't need ropes, temples, or ancient tongues. You begin by mastering awareness. Each principle becomes a mirror. Think in rhythm, observe polarity, move with cause. To live hermetically is to live consciously, to walk as if every step shapes the cosmos. Let's talk about the cycle of initiation. Every seeker passes through 3 gates: curiosity, which is the spark of interest, chaos, which is the breaking down of old paradigms, and clarity, which is seen through the lens of the soul. Initiation is not a ceremony, it's a rebirth through fire, darkness, and inner truth. Once the adept wakens, they no longer just seek the light, they become radiant with it. Hermeticism is not meant to be kept secret out of fear, but shared with those who have ears to hear. You are not here to follow the stars, you are here to become one. Living Hermetism in this modern world, meditation becomes alchemy, thought becomes vibration, kindness becomes transportation. You learn to see the divine in everything, from traffic to tears, from birth to death. In this spiral path, there is no end. The hermetic path is not linear, it spirals, deepens, and returns. The more you awaken, the more you realize how much there is still to unveil. The adept becomes a student forever. There is no final destination, only endless revelation. And so, the curtain falls on this ancient tale. But if you've listened closely, Lightworker, you know this is not the end. Hermeticism was never meant to just be studied. It was meant to be lived. The 7 principles, the emerald tablet, the whispers of Thoth and Hermes, they are not just fragments of forgotten wisdom. They are tools to unlock your mind, shape your reality, and return to divine balance. You've just retraced the steps of mystics, alchemists, and seekers from millennia ago, and now the path lies before you. The world may call it myth, but you now carry the memory of something ancient, something eternal. The light has returned to you. Don't let it dim. If this journey lit even a spark within you, let it burn brighter. Subscribe to this channel to walk further into the mysteries. Like this video if it stirred your soul. Drop a comment, the light remembers me. And share this with someone who is ready to awaken. Do you want to study deeper? Check the description below. The Kybalion book awaits. More teachings are coming. This was just the map. Now it's time to live the magic.